welcome to the second episode of Diverse Wednesday. I don't know if you've noticed, but I try to match the episode names with the book recommendations that I've chosen. So last week was called Get On Board because it was the first episode of the Diverse Wednesday series that I started, and it also had to do with traveling by ship and pirates and all that stuff. But this week, something that all the books have in common is that all the main characters have something with either fashion or art. So the first book I want to recommend to you guys is Bingo Love by T. Franklin, who is a queer, black and disabled woman. And let's just first take a look at this beautiful cover because, oh my gosh, it's amazing. I love it so much, especially because you can see right away that this is a queer book. And I found this book through a recommendation by one of my favorite authors, so when I saw the cover and when I read the summary, I just knew that I had to read this. This book focuses on the life story of two women who fell in love when they were teenagers but got separated because of their family's disapproval. The story begins in 1963 when they first meet at bingo, and now you might think, why would teenagers go to bingo? But they always went along with their grandmothers, so that is why. I have played bingo myself a couple of times, but honestly, I have never won anything. I'm just too unlucky a person for bingo, I think. Anyway, after they've met at bingo, they meet again at school, and they become best friends. And after that, they fall in love. And they have felt this way for a long time for each other already, but they never really told each other before because they were also afraid about what their families would think, because it is not something that was socially accepted in that time. And unfortunately, they were right. When they got caught kissing by one of their grandmothers, they literally got separated and they were forced to marry men who their families had chosen for them. And they didn't see each other for 50 years. Their husbands didn't know anything about their history and about how they really felt. So yeah, but this all changed after 50 years when they suddenly meet again at bingo! So yeah, you get why the story is called Bingo Love. But seriously, 50 years, that is a really long time to keep your true feelings hidden. And the reasons why I think this book is so important is, one, it features black queer women, and two, it shows that love knows no age limit. And often I find that most books, especially LGBTQ plus books, are centered around younger people, mostly teenagers, discovering who they are, who they want to be, or young adults. And I never really see that many books centered around elderly people who are experiencing love and finding each other back again, and that is something that I would want to read more of, because a book like this I have never read before. And if you know any books that feature elderly queer people, then I would love to know, because sometimes I like reading books about young adults, but I also would like to see a more diverse age category. And I also love the drawing style in this graphic novel, and the fact that they try to make it as realistic as possible by also showing curves and scars and make them look beautiful. And it's gorgeous. And this is actually the Jackpot Edition, so it also has a lot of extra short stories in the back, and I really recommend that if you want to get this book that you get the Jackpot Edition, because it's not much more expensive than the normal edition, I believe, and the bonus stories are just, they're so good as well, and I really recommend this book to everyone because it is such an important story and it's so cute, and I can't wait for volume 2 to come out, but I don't think that it will be better than volume 1 because, oh, girl, did I love this book. The second book I want to show you today is The Black Flamingo by Atta, and normally I always prefer to buy hardcovers, but for this one I really liked the paperback cover more because it is really pink, and I love colorful books, and the flamingos on here are just really cute, and I like the gold details on here. And if you look really closely, you can see that there is actually a black flamingo there, so he is wearing a black flamingo, which now that I'm saying it sounds really cruel, but it is absolutely not meant like that. Anyway, this is about Michael, who is a mixed-race gay teenager, and the first half of this book is about him growing up as a child and his time and about his time in high school, where he also meets his best friend, to whom he admits that he is gay, and she seems to be absolutely fine with that. The latter half of this book shows that they are growing apart after they got into a fight, and also because they are going to different universities. And Michael has already decided which societies he would like to join when he goes to university, and one of those societies is the African Caribbean Society. But when he actually gets there and is surrounded by all these black students, he is being told by someone that he isn't really black because he is Greek Cyprian, and he should check out the Greek society. So he doesn't really feel at home at either of these societies. But then he discovers the drag society, and he knows that he has always loved drag, but right now he is struggling with his identity, and it's just a really scary step to take for him. This book really was a joy to my heart, and I love it so much, and it's not only pretty on the outside but also on the inside because it is written in verse and it has many beautiful pictures inside, which are drawn by Anshika Kular, who is a gender fluid Indian illustrator, and I highly recommend this book because it's beautiful. Last but not least is Felix Ever After by Kacen Callender, who is a black trans man and uses they, them, or he, him pronouns, and I was really surprised by this book, and it wasn't a really nice surprise. I was a little bit cautious, you could say, because it was a really hyped up book and I saw it everywhere, but I've often had that I didn't really like a hyped up book as much as other people did, so I don't know, I didn't know if I would like it or not, but I am so glad that I read it because it is amazing, and I recommend everyone to read this book. I actually listened to the audiobook for this one, and it is an 8-hour long audiobook, and I listened to it in one sitting because I just couldn't stop listening to it, and it's amazing. However, this book is about a transgender boy called Felix who is doing an art studies where he also met his best friend, and he is living with his dad, who still is having difficulty with calling him Felix after all this time. And I am not transgender, so I have no idea what it's like, but I can imagine that trans people have had to deal with other people not understanding or not willing to accept that they're trans and still calling them by their dead name, or I don't know. I can imagine that that is a real struggle for trans people, and that was really shown and explained in this book very well. But this story is not only about the relationship he has with his dad, it is also a story about friendship, and it's a really deep and intimate friendship. And I also like the fact that there's a lot of LGBTQ plus rap among his classmates and other friends, and I like that the story was not only focused on 2 or 3 characters, but you also saw all the other people he had to deal with every day in his life, and it didn't really make it more difficult to read the story, but it just made it more realistic. But one day someone hacks into his social media and spreads all these personal pictures of Felix from before he transitioned, and this transphobic act makes Felix so incredibly angry that he wants revenge. And I like the fact that he is not perfect. He is out for revenge, and he wants to learn the person who did this a lesson. In this story, he discovers that not everyone is what they show the world they are, and he also has to rediscover himself and who he is right now and who he wants to be. And on top of that, he also falls in love for the first time. This book has so many important messages to tell, and I just think that it's a really important story that has to be told. And this story also features a lot of gay characters, so if you are looking for a black trans gay character rap, then this is definitely the book for you. Well, we've already come to the end of this second episode, and yeah, please let me know which LGBTQ plus books you have read recently and whether you recommend them to me. And if you have any suggestions or tips as well, don't hesitate to leave those in the comments as well. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I try to post every Wednesday and Saturday. So if you want to be notified whenever I post, please subscribe to my channel and click on that little bell icon. And yeah, thank you so much for watching again, and I wish you a wonderful day with a lot of sunshine and books. Mata ne!